Welcome to Dreams for Society, where we imagine, visualize, and create. You can find us at www.dreamsforsociety.com and reach me at lisa@dreamsforsociety.com. I'd love to hear from you if you want to be interviewed. And if you would like an intuitive life coaching session with me, please email me at lisa@dreamsforyoucoaching or visit our website at www.dreamsforyoucoaching.com. Love to help you facilitate your intuitive messages for inspired action so that your dreams can come true. And with that, I'd like to introduce you all to our beautiful guest, Catherine Clift. Catherine is a transformational wealth and success coach. She's certified, and she's had a journey that took her from a journalist, got a journalism degree at Indiana University, and then later a degree in medical technology from the IU School of Medicine. So you know your stuff, and now you're this transformational success and wealth coach, and you help us get the blocks out of our money issues, right?
That's right. Subconscious, yes.
So, Catherine, can you share with me, and the audience will chime in here.
All right.
How'd you get to be where you are today?
It's kind of a long journey, but I have a degree in journalism from Indiana University and got my first job at a small town newspaper in Plymouth, Indiana, and absolutely loved it. I was the feature writer. It was my dream job. I loved it. I got to do the police beat. I got some really neat people. And I fell in love with a person for the first time in my life in my 20s, and I've never been happy. It was just a wonderful, happy experience. Well, he unfortunately had just been divorced and was like 11 and a half years older than I was, and was very bothered by the age gap. And so I basically knew he was having some issues, so I kind of told him to go to this beginning experience seminar to see if he could get his act together. Unfortunately, he met somebody there, and they got married in 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and I basically, it was the most, I've never been so depressed in my life. I basically went through divorce in that sense, and it took me 10 years to get over the relationship.
Okay.
When I fall in love pretty hard, but the problem was, at that time at the paper, they had just hired a new reporter, and they wanted me, instead of being the feature writer, to do the society page. Weddings and engagements. It was like rubbing salt into an open wound. I was so angry and so upset. I went to the editor and I told him that if he did not take me off of this, I was going to look for another job.
That sounds like a Hallmark movie, Hallmark Channel movie, you know. There's got to be a good ending, though.
No, it's like, never tell your boss you're looking for another job before you have one, because they basically had my replacement before I had another job. And that was really tough. But I ended up going to another small town newspaper in southern Indiana. It was much more conservative than the one that I had left. So
we're in southern Indiana.
Seymour,
okay.
Indiana.
Yeah, because I grew up, born and raised in Evansville.
Okay, so, well, this was Seymour, Indiana.
Okay.
Hated the editor, hated the town. I think because I was still recovering from the breakup, and just hated everything about it. And at that time, there was a particular special on PBS at that time called Cosmos with Carl Sagan, and I don't know.
Oh, honey, yeah.
And he so inspired me. I always had a desire to be a scientist. And so I thought, now, my life was just in shambles, so I said, I'm going back to college and getting a degree in some kind of science field. So I sort of decided on microbiology, went back to IU at 28. And
good for you.
Yeah, and I was really enthusiastic and inspired. But the problem was, the first organic chemistry course I took, the professor could not relate to the students. And I remember the first test, I didn't recognize a single question on the entire test. I sat there
in a panic?
In a panic and paralyzed for the entire time, just telling myself I'm going to fail. And it was just such oh my gosh, I can't describe the feeling I went through. And I realized, I said, I've got to drop the class. There is no way I'm going to pass this class. So I dropped the class.
Okay. But I did that on one class.
But I was so determined that I was going to do this, that I got the chemistry book that summer that we were going to have for that next class, and the problem was stoichiometry. I took chemistry in high school and got a D in it because I could not figure out I have a math phobia. My brain does not do math. So and I was so absolutely determined that I was going to overcome this obstacle. And I told my brain, I said, I don't care how much you don't want to learn this, you're going to learn this. And I will never forget, it was a Sunday morning and I was poring over the equations and suddenly the light bulb went on. I figured out how to convert moles to grams and grams to moles. And it was just like, it was like a revelation. I was the most euphoric person you cannot possibly imagine. I went running down the street of Seymour screaming at the top of my lungs, Eureka, I have found it. And I mean, the world was mine. Nothing could stop me. I was on fire.
That is great. That's a great story of how you built your confidence.
The inorganic class that semester, I loved the professor. I interacted with him. He loved me. I got an A- in the class.
Great for you.
I was so excited. I thought this is a great victory for me.
Yeah.
And then the next semester I hit organic chemistry, screeching halt, roadblock. Could not do organic chemistry. No matter what I did, couldn't figure it out.
Well, you're talking Greek to me because I steered away from all those things. I didn't even attempt to do.
But I realized, I said, the microbiology course is a 5-year program, and I thought, I don't have the time and I don't have the money. So it was funny, that summer I found this incredible career called medical technology that I had never heard of before, and it was lab work, and that's what I wanted to do, was lab work.
Yeah.
So this particular the medical technology course with the IU School of Medicine is the only med tech course associated with the School of Medicine in the entire country.
Ooh.
So
you were in a prestigious spot.
I'm very, very prestigious, and did very well. In fact, passed all the book work was the easiest part. It was the practical stuff that sometimes I struggled with. But I passed the course. In fact, several of my colleagues went on to become medical doctors, went on to medical school, and they told us later, nothing in medical school was as hard as medical technology.
So you could have done anything.
So it made
from
me
that
feel
point.
so good. But the problem was, the time I graduated in '84, the labs were becoming very automated.
Right.
Instead of doing the manual tests, all these big instruments was coming in, and you had to really know math pretty well to to whatever. And it's like, and I started making mistakes. I was working at Riley at the time when I was in the class as a volunteer in the chemistry lab and loved it. But in the very end, I started making mistakes and I started to question myself.
Aww.
And my confidence was going down the tubes. And then the first job I got out of there, I basically screwed up and I got fired. So, I mean, my self-esteem was just going down the tubes. So I basically went back and I got a job as a copywriter and at a local as an ad agency in Indianapolis, and really enjoyed it because I love creative writing. That's one of the things I love to do.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize was about 9 months, I think I was there 9 months, and they brought in this kid fresh out of college at half my salary and gave me my walking papers. And I was angry. I felt betrayed. Yes. I was just devastated. And that kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like I started questioning, what could I do? Where was my value? And just really couldn't do it. And I was unemployed for a very long time after that. And it just really destroyed any kind of confidence I had in myself. So
sounds like you went on a bit of a roller coaster
I
ride.
did. And I have no regrets because
it was a good growing
It really
experience,
was. I mean, if I hadn't gone through what I did, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so basically, it was maybe a year or so later that RCI came along, and I'd never heard of RCI. But
the resort condominium.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's a wonderful company. They have wonderful benefits. I was very good at what I did.
Yeah, for the audience, it's the
timeshare exchange.
Timeshare exchange. So you help people buy like 2 weeks in any.
Well, we don't. We actually do the exchanges.
Okay.
So they have the timeshare. We help them do the exchanges on where they want to go.
Okay.
Very, very stressful.
Oh.
But I was one of their top producers, and I got to, in fact, 3 years running. The first year I got to go to Hawaii. And the second year I got to go to...
My goodness, it takes a lot of confidence to be a good salesperson.
Yeah, and I was very good
Where did that come from?
I'm very good at sales. I'm very good at persuasion.
Oh, good
that
for
I have
you.
a very, very, yes. If I believe in my product, I can really sell it.
Yeah.
But I was there 25 and a half years.
Really?
Yes.
Which had nothing to do really with the journalism degree.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with the medical technology
No, I wasn't
degree.
stretching myself.
But yet it was all in divine order.
Well, it was kind of like I felt comfortable. I felt like I could do it. I didn't,
Right.
and it was stressful, but, I was hitting the numbers and, but the very end, it kind of like, I thought that I could hold on maybe a year longer than I did, but the stress kept getting higher and higher, and they kept raising the bar, and I got shingles in the last month that I was there.
Because I think they were hurting, weren't they? Kind of financially?
They are. They had a lot of lawsuits against them.
Yeah, and they're probably putting more pressure on you guys to.
Yeah, and they've changed dramatically since then.
Yeah.
But I started doing some like self-development work, and in 2005 I found this incredible technique called the release technique / the Sedona method.
Oh.
And it was basically through my church at that time, because I was cradle Catholic, but I was moving away from the Catholic Church simply because there was a pastor there that really ticked me off, that they're getting more conservative all the time. So I was going to basically a church. It was called the Church Within. And
Oh yeah, down in Fountain Square.
it is now. It was on West 79th Street.
Okay.
And loved the people. I mean, it was run by a bunch of lesbians, but they're the most loving people that I've ever met.
It's non-denominational.
Non-denominational, and it was actually initially run by a former Catholic nun who made the comment. She said Catholics need more therapy than any other religion. I totally agreed.
Really?
I totally agreed with her.
Oh, that's interesting.
But one of the parishioners there brought in this course called the Abundance Course, and at that time, my mind was kind of like, well, that's materialistic, you're spiritual, you don't want to go to that. And I thought, fine. So there was actually 2 parts to it, and it was delayed the first time because of a snowstorm. And so I actually missed the first part, but the second part I went to, and my eyes were open to something that I had never, I didn't realize what a power I had within myself.
Oh, awesome. Now, how many years ago was this?
2005. And miracles started happening almost immediately.
So that would have been about 13 years
Yeah,
ago.
I've been doing this for 13 years, and my life has never been the same. I mean, I realized, my self-confidence went up 300% or more after finding out what kind of power I had. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just amazing. And it was and I started going to the retreats, and it was one of these, excuse me, it was one of these retreats in Sedona, Arizona, that I discovered this incredible career called life coaching that I had no idea even existed. And when the person told me what it was, I thought, you actually get paid for this?
Yeah, because that back in those days, you're right, no one heard of it.
It was like
therapy,
wow.
but not life coaching.
Well, this was probably 2013. So when the email came through, this was
all right. And I hadn't heard of it either until recently.
When the email came through about this one course, it was basically based on the law of attraction.
Okay.
I decided, I want to really do this, and so this was a year program. So I enrolled and got certified in 2000 and. She had joined in May of 15 and got certified in July of 16.
Right.
But the problem was it was very general, and they didn't teach you how to coach any niches or anything. So my confidence really wasn't where I wanted it to be. But the mentor of the class was teaching hypnotherapy, and I really was intrigued with hypnotherapy. So I enrolled in a hypnotherapy class for 6 months and got certified as a hypnotherapist. Really, really enjoyed that. But again, it's like, how do you do this? How do you get clients?
How do you apply it?
Yeah, how do you apply it? How do you get clients? So then in 2016, when, was it 2007? Yeah, 2016, when the Tapping into Wealth course came through, I knew immediately this is what I wanted to do, because Margaret, who does the course, recognizes the gap in the coaching programs. It's like they teach you a modality, but they don't teach you how to coach or how to solve a client's problem so that they see the benefit of it.
Okay.
And she realized that money was the number one issue of just about anybody, and that 90% or more of the planet has these hidden money block issues.
Okay.
And I thought, this is awesome. And then when I started taking it, realizing a lot of it was visualization and hypnotherapy, I was on fire. It's like, and then this is why I want to help people clear their hidden money blocks. Is people should be able to live their dreams. I mean, I've always, even as a young person, I knew that I'm a cheerleader. I want to inspire people.
You're inspiring me right now. I love the passion in your voice.
I want to inspire people to the best they can possibly be.
Yeah.
Because I saw people at RCI that, like there was a person there at RCI, was an incredible artist and sculptor. And I said, what are you doing here? And she said, I can't make a living at this. And it's like, yes, you can. Or people would tell me, and I said,
yes, that's what we need to hear, right?
Well, it's like people who, were in their late 60s that I knew, or even 70. I said, when are you going to retire? Oh, I'm never going to retire. They're going to carry me out in a box.
A lot of people would say that.
That is the most depressing thing I have ever heard of. And, I was over 60 when I found this passion. So it's never too late.
So why do you think people say that they'll have to carry me outside in a box?
I think it's because they can't imagine not working or not having that income.
And like, do they know any other passion? Do they have any?
See, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
It's just like, I think it's what they know. They're familiar with it.
So they haven't developed any of the other gifts or even recognized them.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
Whereas you, look at all the gifts that you recognize.
I know.
Through your life.
It's just been amazing. So it's like, so
Yeah.
again, people should know. I mean, people here on this earth to be happy.
Right.
And if they're stuck in a job that's making them miserable, or if they're not stretching themselves to where they're using their talents, that's a tragedy.
Well, it also occurred to me, in this realm, we have money and time that controls us.
Absolutely.
And that, money, time can buy us money through our job. Like
Yes.
we put the time in, we get the money. So time can buy money, but money can't buy time.
That's correct.
And so what I love implied in what you're saying to people, no matter what age they are,
That's right.
it's always the right time to discover your gifts and
Absolutely.
to transform your life.
Absolutely.
And we have all the time we need.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be limited by the time either, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just
Absolutely.
wanted to throw that out there.
No, absolutely. So, it's like, there's just too many people that feel stuck in life.
Right.
Whether it's relationships, whether it's career or job. I mean, the downsizing now is getting to be a real issue. And,
Well, I think we feel stuck because, like you said, they need the money in their job, and they think, I'm too old to try to go back to school.
See, that's just it.
I don't have the time in life to recreate myself.
Right.
So again, I think time is intermeshed a lot with the money and
It
the
is.
blocks.
It is. And time, and that, that's
Right.
a lot of it is, how is your money blocks affecting you? It's affecting you because you don't have the time to do what you want to do.
Or we don't think we have the
Or
time.
we're not enjoying life the way we want to because we're so tied down to our jobs, or we're so stressed out trying to make ends meet or trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever it is.
And we're looking at a forward point in time. Oh, when I retire, then I'll have fun in life.
Just that's it.
Then I can paint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's always waiting. It's like
waiting, and which is a time element.
Exactly.
So you specialize in the Sedona method that you learned out in Sedona.
I do.
But you also do the tapping, the hypnotherapy that you mentioned. And you were mentioning how it all intertwines. Because
it does.
The Sedona method apparently, I don't know anything about the Sedona method.
All right.
You're going to use me as the guinea pig
yes,
for that.
I am.
I love it. So we're all going to be learning about this together. You were mentioning just now that the Sedona method, because you were trained in the visualization with the hypnotherapy, that helps you apply the Sedona method?
It does, in a sense.
Okay. But?
Okay. Well, I mean, the Sedona method is actually tapping without doing the actual points. So,
what are points?
In other words, with tapping, you're doing the acupressure points.
Oh, I've heard, I've seen that.
That's the emotional freedom technique.
Emotional freedom technique.
EFT. Yes, that's tapping.
Okay.
So, but the Sedona method is...
Are we going to try it?
We're going to do this.
Okay.
So basically... this allows you to release any unwanted feeling in the moment.
Okay.
And it's what I love about it is the simplistics of it.
Okay.
But basically, so imagine your hand is your consciousness, and this pen is your feelings, okay?
Okay.
Now roll the pen around in your hand. Just notice though that, here, do this. So just notice it's not attached to your hand.
Oh.
Okay? It's rolling there just very lightly. Okay.
See, now I'm afraid it's going to fall, which it did.
That's okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to grip it very tightly.
Okay.
This is what we do with our feelings. And notice the longer you do that, the more familiar that feeling is.
Now, I'm just shaking it for, I
You
don't know.
No, you don't have to.
But I mean, I'm wondering what that means. I
But
notice
just-
I'm shaking it.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just
As if that's
just
gonna give me more
imagine
strength.
again. People's when people hold on to feelings tightly, it gets so familiar to them,
Yeah.
they can't imagine letting them go.
Right.
Because it's like, but it's familiar. What would it be like if I didn't hold on to them?
Right.
See?
Yeah.
Now, what I want you to do is, and this is the way the release. So turn your
What,
hand.
should I visualize, or should I be thinking of a feeling?
No.
Okay.
We're going to do that next.
Okay.
So turn your hand over and open it, and that's as easy as a release. You have the power to release any feeling.
Remember how I said I was fearful I was going to drop the pin to begin with, and it was.
Yeah.
Then it made it easier for me to let it go, but still I felt badly for the pin. I'm sorry.
But that's
You
how.
fell.
But that's the first way. You can make a decision to let any feeling go. No
I'm
matter-
I'm a good compliant person. No,
That's
I'm not
very
really,
good.
but I listened to instructions.
That's
But
good.
I didn't hesitate, did I?
No,
I
you
just
didn't.
let that thing go.
No.
Okay.
But there's different ways to do the releasing, and we're going to do probably a couple of these. So
Okay.
basically, what I want you to do,
All right.
put your hand over your heart.
Do I need the pin?
No.
No.
You can
Okay.
put the pen down now.
All right.
So put your hand over your heart,
Okay.
because that way it'll get you out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And again, think of something that bothers you.
Okay. Let me see.
It doesn't have to be anything major.
Okay,
just
yeah, I
anything
know
that
something bothers me, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you be on that scale? With 10 being it really, really bothers me, to it doesn't. Maybe a 1 or a 2, it doesn't bother me at all. Where would you be?
5.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of simple questions, and the question is, could you let it go? Just could you, if you were
Yes.
able? Okay. Would you? Would you be willing to
Yes.
let it go? And when?
Now.
All right.
There's no time like the present.
That is absolutely correct. And you can make a decision to hold on to it if you want to.
No, I've been working to let this go.
Okay.
And I've been letting. The reason why it's a 5 now, because it was about a 9 3
Oh,
weeks
good.
ago.
Now, do you notice that you feel lighter?
Yes.
And
Yes.
where are you now on a scale of 1 to 10?
I was going to say 1.5.
Wow, that really dropped.
Woo!
Lisa, that was great.
It was?
Yes. Now, what the next thing I want you
Okay.
to do is, again, put your hands together
Okay.
and think of that feeling one more time.
Oh, I've got the Kundalini rising.
Okay?
Mm.
And what I want you to do as you think about it is slowly open your hands and let the energy go.
Okay.
Just set it free. And how did that feel?
Uplifting. And freeing.
Isn't it?
And peaceful.
Very much so. But the more you keep doing that, the more the lighter you feel and the happier you become.
So you're basically showing me how powerful I am.
Absolutely.
Mm.
You have total control of your life, believe it or not. In fact, I have a little mantra that I do every morning when I get up, and I say, I allow myself to have delightful and unexpected joys today.
I allow myself to have
Delightful and unexpected joys
today.
And the thing
Beautiful.
Is, and if you expect them, they happen. And you just
Expect is a strong word.
It is, and you look for them, and I'm just amazed at how.
Expect is without a doubt.
Yeah,
It's not like I'm going to try.
Well, and it's like, see, and I have this childlike trust. I'm kind of a 5-year-old in a 64-year-old body. I mean, I just, I'm still...
I feel the same way.
I'm just kind of a gee whiz person. It's like, and just, delightful things happen. Yeah. It's like when I met you, and it's like, wow, isn't this a wonderful opportunity that I had no idea was going to happen?
Yeah.
So
we're talking about this interview today. Isn't this great?
So it was like, wow, this is just amazing.
Yeah, and I get to have all this gunk released.
Well, in fact, my first horse, and this is kind of interesting because I wanted this particular breed of horse when I went to the horse show in Indianapolis. It's a Rocky Mountain gaited horse, and I didn't know this breed existed. All I knew was the Tennessee Walker was a gaited horse, and I thought I was going to get a Tennessee Walker. So
what's a gaited horse?
A gaited horse is, you don't go up and down on the trot.
Okay.
It's a very smooth
gait.
Yes. So when if you're older and have bad back or whatever, you need comfort.
Okay, got it.
The more I thought about this horse, the more I wanted it. My desire just came so strong. It was almost like a hunger. It's like, I want this horse, and so I...
Have you ridden horses all your life?
No.
Okay.
I mean, when I was 5 years old, I wanted a horse, but I mean, I've ridden like on vacation, trail horses, but nothing like I'm riding now.
So this was your first horse?
Basically, she's my second horse. That's why I want to tell you about my first horse.
All right.
Because...
And how old were you when you got your first horse, the Tennessee one? No, the Rocky.
The Rocky, let's see, I got her in 2015 in December.
You are just transforming yourself right and left these last few years.
Oh, man, believe me, this has just been amazing because I I basically hooked up with 2 people that have the Rocky Mountains. One's in Martinsville and the other one's in Gosport.
So at the age of 61, you decided you were going to start riding horses.
Well, I always wanted, but actually...
You have really inspired me since I'm 61.
Actually, what I did was, it's funny because, when I was 56, when I was doing the release technique, my mentor threw this challenge at us. He said, if you knew you only had 6 months to live, what would you be doing?
Really?
And I thought, I knew I wanted to learn how to ride well, and I thought, it's time. So I found a stable. This was in Brownsburg, I think, and took riding lessons, and that sort of went by the wayside. And I went to a couple of stables to do riding lessons, but then it was in 2000 and... was it 13 or 14? Anyway, I started jumping lessons.
Wow.
Yeah, that took courage. Because, I mean, when I went there, I knew it was a jumping stable. In fact, they're the Olympians in Indianapolis almost. And it's like, and the girl said, do you want to learn jumping? And I said, I'm open to that.
This is fantastic.
So you talk about courage.
This is success. It may not be monetary, but it's success.
Well, actually, and it was funny, too, because when I first started my riding lessons in Brownsburg, my mind came back in, and every time I was going out to the stable, I would sit down and do some releasing, because my mind is saying, you really don't want to do this. You're going to end up like Christopher Reeves. You know that.
Oh.
So here I am, and it's like, here all these doubts are coming up, and it's like all this fear. So I have to sit down and overcome this blasted mind that's telling me...
Which was a block that you released with the pen and...
Yes, and and the big one was... You really don't enjoy this as much as you think you do. And that really brought in
You are kidding, which is a code for you aren't worthy of having this fun.
Kind of. And it's like, I was determined this mind was not going to stop me. So I kept on, and I was, in fact, when we started cantering the first time, we were on the lunge line. I don't know if you know, it's a long line that you're going in a circle. And the horse started going a little faster, and all this fear came up. And basically, I got thrown. I fell off.
You did?
Oh, yeah. So, and the whole idea is you get back on when you get thrown, and yeah, I did. I think I pulled a muscle on the inner thigh, and that was pretty much it, but... I got back on, and
oh my goodness!
Oh yeah! But it's like
Oh my!
Yeah. So and it's like so. But anyway, but then when I decided,
that's amazing because as we get older, we're fearful of breaking bones.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't break any bones.
No, I haven't broken any.
Girl, you are really inspiring me because I love to ride horses. I mean, I've only ridden them a few times in my life.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But anyway, what happened was, so I hooked up with these two people that had Rockies, and the one lady who's in Gosport, you know, she didn't really know me from Adam, but she loves her Rockies anyway.
Now, what is a Rocky versus a Tennessee? I don't
a
know
Rocky
anything about.
Mountain it's about the size of an Arabian horse, so it's a smaller one, a smaller horse, but they have long manes and tails, and the basic color is chocolate with flaxen mane and tail.
Oh, beautiful!
So they do come in some really beautiful colors.
And are they from the Rocky Mountains?
Actually, they come from Appalachia.
Okay.
So that's where I thought so too, and it's like, no, they come from Kentucky, basically. Kentucky and Tennessee, that area.
Okay.
But anyway, they, you know, and so this lady, so when I went out to see Judy, she said, well, you can come down and ride on weekends if you want to. And I looked at her and I said, I hope you're serious because I'm going to take you up on that.
Down where?
Down in Gosport. It's about an hour to 10 minutes from where I live. Okay. It's all interstate driving.
Still in Indiana.
It's still in Indiana. So I would go down. This was basically, when did I think it was September of 2015 that I started riding her Rockies. And then I went to the show in Edinburgh where there was a bunch of Rockies, and that's when my desire just got so strong. I was like, almost like, I've got to get a Rocky. I've got to get a Rocky. So in December, and this is what was so incredible. This was right when I got shingles too. So, but I called her up.
But you were still with RCI.
I was still with RCI, and I called her up and I said, you know, can I come down and ride on Sunday? And she said, oh, I'm not sure. But then she said this. She said, oh, by the way, Janet needs to basically downsize her herd, and she's got 3 mares, and I thought of you. Would you like one?
Whoa.
And I was like, what? Because she's like, she's giving it to me. No price. Just,
you are kidding.
Just giving it to me. And the next thing, and I about dropped the phone, and the next thing she said, I'll board it for you for $175 a month. That, you know, the cheapest board here is $400.
I was just going to say, you just entered into a very expensive habit, but now you've got a deal.
Oh my God.
Success. And abundance with monetary.
Oh, it was amazing.
An indirect way. Instead of having to pay this astronomical fee for the horse and the boarding. Right. You're saving all this money.
Right, but she was 21 years of age, so she was older.
Yeah, but
but she didn't gait the way I wanted her to. I mean, I had her from December to basically September of 2016.
Okay.
And she got to a point, there was one point where I couldn't ride her because she'd had the girth had rubbed a sore on her belly. So, you know, Judy said we need to ride a different horse. So that's when I got to ride the horse I have now for the first time.
Which is also a Rocky?
Yeah, and she got the smoothest gait you could possibly
Now you had to pay for her.
I had to pay for her, but she's worth every penny of it.
Yeah, oh, sweet.
But it was like, oh my gosh, it's like, and you know, and this lady knows because it was like 3 months after in December that she calls me, because this was when we had the mild winter, you know, and she calls me up and she said, she's not eating. She hasn't eaten. This was on Monday. She said she is not eating. She hasn't eaten since Sunday. And so she knows this. I mean, she's so in tune to her horses.
So
and she said, I'm really concerned. And she said, unfortunately, my vet is out of state at a convention. So she had to take her to Danville to another vet. And so she took her on Monday, and it was like a $400 vet bill, you know, and he gave her something for her pain. But she said she's not, like when a horse colics, they basically get down and roll, but she was gritting her teeth, but she wasn't doing all the other symptoms, but she still wasn't eliminating either. So that's why, So that's why Judy knew she was impacted, and that's serious, you know, that's a life-threatening thing for a horse. So on Tuesday, it's like she calls me up and she says, you know, I'm not, you know, I've got to call into the vet. He's not calling me back. I'm not waiting any longer. We're taking her to Purdue. So, so it's like, I don't know, you know, as far as I know, my horse has colic. I don't know if I'm going to lose her. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can't save her. It's like, here I spent $3,000 on a horse. Yeah. I only had her 3 months and I'm going to lose her or whatever. So we took her up to Purdue and they basically cleaned her out and said the botworm had not died out because of the mild winter and she had picked it up.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
None of the other horses in the herd got it.
Have you ever tried tapping on her or anything like that?
No, I haven't. But
it just came to me that
she's fine now. And,
oh, good.
Yeah, and she also likes to jump, because it's like when I was riding her Sunday, she wanted to jump every log that we came to.
Yeah.
So it's like, and if you don't have the right, the saddle I have right now is basically a modification of an English and Western.
Right.
It doesn't have the saddle horn, but it does have a high pommel on it. So when she jumps, it's like you've got to kind of stretch yourself out a little bit, but it's kind of jarring, because it's not really that English saddle that you can really do the jumping with.
Right.
But
well, I love how everything you've done, you put your heart and soul into.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's journalism or the medical technology or the long career in RCI, or your beautiful passion now with the Rocky Mountain horses, and I just love that. And so obviously you bring that passion and your gifts to this transformational success and wealth coaching.
Right.
And I just love what you demonstrated a minute ago. And you said you had another little trick up your sleeve today, maybe a wheel or
we've got something called the money map.
The money map or something.
And I may have to get some glasses. I think it might be big enough I can read it. But we're gonna do just one example of the money map, because basically it's a diagnostic tool.
Because we can never have, none of us ever feel like we have enough money, no matter how wealthy we are, right?
That is correct. In fact, that's the one thing about this program, because it's like the founder of this said, it doesn't matter if you make a six-figure income.
Right.
People have triggers to money.
Yes.
And they don't really realize this.
Yeah.
So we'll just see what we do now. So think about your current income.
Right.
Okay?
My current income. Okay.
All right. And I want you to say out loud, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Okay. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being that's absolutely true, it's not enough, to 1 being no, I think that would be an adequate amount, where would you be?
I think a 5 again.
Okay, so that's 50%. That's fine. And when you think about that income, as you picture it, what are the 2 main feelings that come up when you look at that number?
Running out, like it may not last.
Okay. So would that be anxiety, fear?
I guess it would be worries.
Okay.
Fear.
Okay.
Not so much anxiety, but just concern. Like,
okay. Yeah.
And then you want one other?
Yeah. What other feelings? So you got anxiety or worry?
Well, the feeling that's coming up is like doggone it, Lisa, be grateful. But it's like upset that I'm not grateful. That's, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Like reminding myself I should be grateful.
Okay.
So what is that? I'm not sure exactly, but it's sort of some kind of maybe a little bit of frustration.
Do you feel guilt?
Not guilt, but maybe a little frustration with not feeling grateful.
Okay.
More.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And what's the main thing that you say in your head when you think about your income?
I guess it'd be nice to have more.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
And does thinking about the amount that you're earning and how hard you have to work for it remind you of a financial situation or trauma that your parents had around money?
Well, I've thought that because all my adult life I've had financial success.
Okay.
But as a child, it seemed like we were very middle class, and it seemed like, at least according to my mother, we could have had a lot more, that we were struggling, or she was struggling with the financial situation. So you asked, the question was, is there anything that reminds you of financial situation or trauma around your parents? Yeah. As the oldest of five, I always wanted to try to solve things.
Okay.
And, I couldn't because I was a kid.
Right.
And so, I guess the frustration.
So did you feel the anxiety around the? I mean,
there was a lot of
it?
anxiety around it. In hindsight, we had enough, but it was played like we didn't.
It's kind of that lack, not that not enough mindset. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah.
So was it your father? I mean, did your both parents work or just one?
Both worked.
Okay.
Yeah, both worked. My mom was a nurse, and my dad was in business. He was he was in journalism as well, but then he later was in business.
Okay.
Yeah, but we had enough. I mean, but there was a lot of kid after kid after kid. It put strain.
Sure.
And I'm sure my mother probably would have liked to. She was a stay-at-home mom when I was younger.
Okay.
I'm sure she would have liked to have been a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And but she loved her job too. So, but I think she would have preferred. I think, but who knows? Maybe. I'm not sure. I just think that regardless, there probably always would have. If she'd been a stay-at-home mom, it probably would have even been more exacerbated in terms of her feeling there wasn't enough.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now, finish this sentence.
Okay.
So when you, excuse me, let's try that again. Finish this sentence.
I always feel like that means we're clearing some energetic block.
It could be.
Yeah.
So when you think about your income, this means I'm what? By filling in the blank.
The income means I'm...
Yeah, or this, the fact that I have this much income means I'm...
stable.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
So that's just one part of the money map. Basically, we go through 5 types of money. We basically go through savings, debt, income goals, and then there's such a thing as toxic money. And not everybody has toxic money. It has to do with having a battle around it. Like if you're owed money and you had to go to court to get it, or a child settlement, or child support, something like that. Or if you're getting an income, if you're maintaining a lifestyle, you need a certain lifestyle to maintain, and you don't, and the money is coming to maintain that lifestyle, but it's not a relationship you want to be in, so to speak. So that's what we call toxic money.
Okay.
So not everybody has it, but basically that's the diagnostic tool, and then based on your triggers, then we go on with the coaching on that. So that's just kind of an example.
Okay, so those questions help me find some of my blocks.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we can tap on, and if people are particularly triggered, we can tap on it and release some of the energy, or you can release it with the Sedona method or whatever.
Yeah, so good. You probably can't get enough of this stuff.
Oh, it's deep, and that's just it. It goes very deep. I mean, we're just scratching the surface.
Right.
And, a client has to be willing to do that deep work. And some people are not comfortable with that.
Because it can get painful.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't want to see the skeletons in the closet, so to speak.
Yeah, because ultimately we have to accept that it's our own stuff.
Right.
And we can't do the pain, shame, and blame.
Right.
You can't blame it on the outside world. Like, if I'd gotten that promotion, if they just...
Right.
given me what they were supposed to, or if that guy hadn't stole the job from me, or if women were paid the same as men.
No. And it's interesting too, because, like, for example, your income and your debt is set based on your inner programming. So, yes, and this is quite fascinating.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Because basically, you have a set point for your income.
Okay.
And if you go beyond that, then your mind will find a way to sabotage yourself. Because I can say I am a perfect example of that. I may have gotten an extra bonus at work or something like that, and then something went wrong with the car. All these expenses came up, and I'd lose it as quickly as I got it.
Well, I've heard of these stories of like Trump, for example, President Trump. Way before he was president, he's been in Indiana because he owns some casinos, and he owned some of the casinos in Indiana before he sold them. But so I've met him in person
Oh,
at
wow.
one point. Yeah, because I used to
Okay.
represent casinos in my
Okay.
old job. Anyway, I saw the history of him, and
Uh-huh.
he'd have all this money, and then he'd file bankruptcy, and then he'd get all the money back, and then file
Interesting.
bankruptcy. And I heard that there was a pattern. Some
Yes.
people would do that recurring roller
Oh, yes.
coaster. But what you're saying is a little different, because what it is, it's like almost like we have a certain length that our hair will grow and it won't grow any longer.
Yep. And it has to do basically again with what you believed, from your parents about
Okay.
money. Because basically there's two different things going. There's the loyalty vow that you
Okay.
need to be loyal to your tribe, because in order to be, if you're loyal to your tribe, then you're not going to die. You're going to survive. So if your parents made a certain amount of money, you don't allow yourself to go beyond that, because then I'm not going to be loyal to my parents. And that would be a terrible
What
thing.
an interesting.
Oh yeah. The other pattern
Never
is
thought of
and
that.
The other pattern is I'm not going to be anything like my parents. I'm going to show them. So you do go successful beyond your parents, but then that loyalty vow kicks in again, and you're like, wait a minute, I've got to be loyal to my parents. So then you start, then you'll find a way to lose it. And it'll keep
Wow.
repeating over and over and over again. And that's what this work does. It gets you very, by bringing it up into your conscious and making it clear, we basically...
How we self-sabotage
we clear
ourselves.
it. Yeah, we do.
We are our own worst enemy.
We are.
We're the ones we're waiting for, but we've got to be aware that since we are the ones we're waiting for, that let's play nice to ourselves.
Oh yeah,
rather than sabotaging.
And I remember because there was a point where I never had any debt in my life until I started doing these self-development courses a lot.
Really?
Oh yeah, and then when I remember I was $2,000 in debt, that just that just freaked me out.
And when was this? How long ago?
Oh, this was probably
that you first got in debt? Because
I
most
would
people
say
have been in
right
debt their
around
whole life.
2000 and maybe 2010, something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were $2,000.
But anyway, I basically
Yeah.
sat down one evening when I was meditating, and I just kind of asked my inner self. I said, why does it bother me to be in debt? What is wrong with being in debt, or whatever? Just ask that question. And I just kind of sat there quietly, and the answer hit me like a brick. And it was like, because it stops you from having what you want. And I was like, whoa!
That is.
It was like a light bulb went on.
Intuitive message.
It was.
Oh, because it stops from
because the mind thinks
getting what you want.
the mind thinks it's keeping you safe. It says if you make too much money, it's not safe to make that kind of money. In fact, there's a big vow you take, the vow to be invisible. That's why a lot of people are not successful, because putting yourself out there, you're making yourself vulnerable to attack,
to criticism and
so
attack.
that's
Like,
why,
you think you're better than me because you're
Yes.
getting all this success and money.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the worthiness value comes in a lot in this. It's like, I'm not worthy or valuable to make this kind of money. And if you have that kind of programming, then the mind is going to, when you start, trying to do a business or be successful, that inner critic starts getting very loud and says, oh, wait a minute, you don't want to do that. It's not safe. You're going to get rejected. You're going to,
So instead of being attached to prosperity, we're attached to scarcity.
Exactly.
So if we're going to be attached to something, I guess it's better to be nice to be attached to prosperity. However, I think the end game, from what I'm discovering, is not to be attached to anything.
Exactly.
And then you're freeing your mind and you have total abundance.
Yes, that's it. In fact, that's a lot about the release technique. No attachments, no aversions.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I brought
no
that
attachments, no aversions. If you can get to that point.
I can let it go and let it drop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, the funny thing is, it's like when you're in that stressful, upset situation, you forget to let go. It's like I always told myself,
I got to hang on to this.
It's like I need a little rubber band or something to snap and say.
And interestingly, I had a dream several weeks ago, and being a lawyer, I was always about fairness and justice. Okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be this do-good lawyer. It didn't turn out that way. I ended up being a lobbyist lawyer for big corporations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. However, the justice and fairness has always been core in me.
Yeah.
And so I had this dream several weeks ago, And I saw the word justice. And it was in a dream, not a meditation, as I was waking up. I saw the word justice wanting to leave me, like the pin dropping.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, no. Catherine, don't make me drop justice.
Oh, my.
No.
Hold on.
I got to hold on to justice.
Uh-huh.
Well, this justice, it was convincing me in the dream, let it go, Lisa.
Don't be attached to it.
And so I said, okay. So the justice went down this spiral, this wormhole or whatever.
Wow.
And right as it was getting to the beginning of the portal or whatever it was, I was like, okay, I'm releasing it. Mm-hmm. Guess what caught up with it and came zooming in?
Abundance.
Injustice.
Really?
That, in that little visual in my dream, it made me realize and understand that in this dualistic realm, we are never going to rise above dualism and polarity.
Yeah.
We're never going to have peace, total peace on earth, until we give up not only peace but war.
There you go.
Because what's beyond the dualistic realm is something beyond what we can imagine.
Right.
And it's a realm without hate and love. It's a realm without war and peace. It's a realm without injustice and justice. Does that kind of fall into what you're...
Yes, absolutely.
So it's like, but I can see why at the beginning it's we've got to let go of the blocks that are allowing us to be successful and wealthy.
Yes, and it's okay. See, growing up in parochial school, I was kind of programmed to say it's not okay to be rich. It's not. It's going to corrupt you. And I had that programming, and it's like with the Sedona method and the release technique, it's okay to have you're not taking anything away from anyone. The universe is unlimited in its abundance.
Yes. I love that. The universe is unlimited in its abundance. You heard it here from Catherine Clift right now.
Yes.
We all can be totally abundant.
Absolutely.
In every moment of every day.
Yes.
We can have gold and jewels all around us because Mother Earth supplies so much of that. And we somehow feel like we have to hide it in our safes or underground or in who knows where. Because somebody will steal it.
Yeah. I know. And yet there's so many people that, different people that I've talked to that don't feel that it's okay to want to be rich. It's like they think, well, just to make ends meet or just to have, fulfill my needs. Right. It's wrong to want, to have a surplus or whatever. It's not. It's that lacking scarcity mentality that says it's not okay to want to be a millionaire, or it's not okay to want to have all this materialistic things.
And we've been programmed, not only just that, but we have been programmed to feel unworthy. We've been programmed to, we've heard the word conceited and selfishness, and it is high time we start becoming interested in ourselves.
Absolutely.
Not to the detriment of others, for sure.
No.
But interested in ourselves so that we can start loving every aspect of ourselves.
Right.
Looking in the mirror and loving it all.
Yep.
I mean, truly, unconditionally loving it.
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about freeing the mind. If we could do that.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Being able to love everything, the good, bad, and ugly. Mm-hmm. Unconditionally. Accept, appreciate, and approve, as I say.
There we go.
And
but it's kind of like I tell people, you are whole, complete, and perfect just as you are.
See, I love that, Catherine. I feel the same way.
Yes.
It's here.
We don't need to change anything.
It's just a question of are we ready to see it?
Exactly.
Are we ready to feel it?
Embrace it, yes.
And once we can feel it and see it, it will be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it will unfold beyond our imagination. Right. We don't have to try to figure out how we're going to make that $1 million.
Right, exactly.
Don't you see that with your clients? It unfolds beyond our imagination once we let go of the attachment to our intention of wanting to be wealthy.
Yes.
I feel it's really important to do that because if we're trying to figure out how to make the million,
Yes.
then we're always looking into the future.
There you go.
Where the time element
You're
comes in.
striving and not arriving.
And
right.
and right now we're feeling scarce when we're doing
Exactly.
that. Okay.
It's what we don't have. So it's like,
and that's just going to keep perpetuating
exactly.
itself.
It is absolutely. That's the law of attraction. Yes.
That's where your law of attraction modality
Absolutely.
comes in. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, again, whatever you focus on is what you're going to attract. So
if I'm focusing on, I can't wait until I get this 6-figure job.
right.
Or please hire me.
Yeah.
Then what am I focusing on right now?
You're focusing on the fact you don't have it.
I don't have the job and I don't have the income.
Exactly.
So that's what's going to manifest right now.
That's right. So you should focus on what are you grateful for right now? What are you enjoying in life? And that's what the universe is going to send you more of.
And you're doing this with your horses.
Absolutely.
I mean, the 2 horses that you've had, you're enjoying.
Oh God, yes.
A lot of people are going to say, I don't have the income to get a horse. Are you crazy? I mean, I'll just have to wait till I get that 6-figure job. Sometime down the road. So what you're doing is you're walking your talk, Catherine.
I kind of, and what's really amazing is when I got my divorce 2 years ago, I had no idea that I had this kind of money. In other words, my ex-husband's a CPA and he handled all the money kind of thing.
Okay.
And he he had his mother, in fact, his mother wanted to give me money to invest in the stock market. So my husband came to me, it was about 2 years after we were married. He said, if my mother gives you this money, will you invest it in the stock market? I said, as long as it's her money, I have no problem with that. So he's very savvy at investing. And, this is how ignorant I am in money. I didn't get a divorce because I didn't think I could afford it. I thought he got his money, I got my money, and based on what I was making at RCI, there was no way in the world I could keep my lifestyle the way I wanted it.
Yeah.
So it was a coworker that told me, said, Catherine, you split it down the middle.
In Indiana, it's 50-50, FYI. Now, in other states, no.
And I looked at her in shock. I go, kidding, really?
You probably would have made more money if you'd been in New York.
Oh,
man.
So it's like, in fact, my divorce attorney, he said, the first thing I want you to do is get a financial planner.
Good for you.
When I realized how much money I had, I was like, oh my God.
So he handled all the money. You had no idea.
He wanted to sit down and tell me sometime, but I was like the deer in the headlights when it comes to managing money. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I mean, I didn't understand the stock market. I didn't understand investing. I didn't understand any of it, and I didn't want to understand it.
Well, good for you. You didn't worry about it, and then all of a sudden it was there.
And it was.
So that's a perfect example.
It's like I have enough money to live on the rest of my life.
Oh, you are. This is amazing.
That's why I was saying, it's like when I started doing the release technique and the Sedona method, it's like abundance.
Yeah, so you were doing that before your divorce.
That is correct.
Okay, you heard it firsthand here. This is what we can do to get miracles in our life.
Right, and so for anybody who's been stuck in a relationship,
not that I am encouraging you all to get divorces, but
yeah, if you're in a relationship that you're not happy, because I could have. I mean, it was tolerable, but it was an emotional, abusive relationship and unsupportive. And I just said, I deserve to be happy. And I found, and after the divorce, I found the perfect condo. I was able to pay it off.
Nice.
And
so, are you in debt today?
A little bit of credit card debt, but the condo's paid off.
Oh, girl.
And I have a car payment, but for the most part, I don't have too much debt. No.
Yeah. How are you feeling that debt is? You feel it's okay?
Oh yeah.
What was you saying?
Oh yeah. I mean,
debt keeps us from getting what we want.
Yeah, debt keeps us from having what we want.
See, that is one of the most profound things. You've said a lot of profound things today that have just blown me off the top, my top off, whatever. But this one I've got to meditate on. Debt
stops you from having what you want.
Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Well, for me, I mean, when I was a child, I go back to the fact that I wanted a horse when I was 5 years old, and my mother told me, no, you can't have it. In fact, I said, I'm going to have a horse before I have a car. He said, no, you're going to have a car first. Well, I hate mothers that are right all the time. But anyway, but I just kind of got the idea that when I was doing the release technique, they were talking about what is some of your main programming, and I recognized that I basically have a program that says you can't have what you want, and if you have a vow like that, then your mind is going to create the reality of it.
Right.
So if you want something and suddenly you can't have it, then the mind is going to say, "See, I told you, you can't have what you want." It's going to validate that over and over and over again because you get to be right.
But let me see if I understand. Does the holding debt, a lot of debt, keep you from getting what you want, or the fear of going into debt keep you from getting what you want?
Probably both for me. I mean, I've gotten comfortable having a debt only because I know I've got money to pay it off if I wanted to. But
what's the most one that you focus on?
I think when I was the $2,000, actually my husband paid it off, but it didn't even tell me that I suddenly realized, wait a minute, I have zero on my credit card now. It's like, and he was saying, well, I don't want to have to worry about paying this off if you suddenly die. So,
oh my goodness.
So, fine. So I was shocked that he paid it off that way.
But I mean, can the idea of holding a lot of debt weigh us down as a debtor?
It can.
Because they used to put us in jail if we couldn't, back in the old days, if we couldn't pay our debt. They still do, don't they?
Well, and it kind of plays on that value and worthy feeling, too, about how worthy
I'm worthy to hold debt, but I'm not worthy to be debt-free and get what I want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I thought you were going with it, but then I got to thinking,
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe, too, not willing to take on a little bit of debt keeps us from getting what we want.
Well, again, by keeping us in debt, and if you don't want to increase that debt or whatever, then it increases. The more you increase the debt, the more the fear comes up or whatever. But the mind is saying, this is your ceiling on your income or whatever.
Right.
I'm going to keep you
in debt.
I'm going to keep you in debt.
You're right. You mentioned that. I love that.
It's like it's going to.
Plus, isn't debt toxic? Isn't that the toxic money you were talking about?
No,
kind of? Not
debt is not. Debt is
Okay.
not the toxic money. The toxic money has to do with money that's in battle. You're in battle.
Yeah, I got you. But I was also wondering if maybe debt could be kind of toxic.
It could be, but it depends on what it is involved.
Yeah. I really like this idea of, I didn't think about toxic debt, or toxic money.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I mean, if you're getting, if you got money from a judgment that had a lot of acrimony.
Exactly. And like you owe, it's like, this person owed you the money, but you didn't want to take it from them to begin with or whatever.
And now,
So it's like, and a lot of people say that when that happens, then ever since that incident, they've never been able to earn any kind of money. It stops them from.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Because now they feel so much guilt. That guilt might
be. It could be guilt or whatever the programming
block.
is. It's the block that says I can't earn any more money because of this situation.
So it brought the ceiling down.
Yep.
So I loved how you mentioned that we all have a certain amount of length that we can grow our hair, and that's the analogy.
Exactly.
And then when they took the toxic money.
Yep.
The hair length went up to here.
Yeah.
So they could only grow it here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And only make even less money.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Something to really
meditate
on. And I'm going to do that and go through more of the cleansing areas.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that, I've got to go back based on what the exercises you went through with me. Go back. This came up recently, and it's no coincidence that it came up again about the childhood memory of money.
Think about what were you hearing from your parents about money?
Yes.
What was the feeling when they were talking about money in the house?
Yes. And interestingly, all my siblings and I have done well.
That's great.
And I don't really think it was, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
I feel like my parents encouraged us to, go after our dreams and gave us the confidence, and it just manifested in higher income than they were able to bring in.
But I think one of the big programs that people have is that I have to work hard in order to make a lot of money. That is a huge.
That was mine.
Or I have to struggle in order to make a lot of money.
Yes.
And if you have that programming, you're going to find a way to struggle.
Well, I found it interesting that you, with your perseverance, you said, I am going to do well in this microbiology.
I know.
However, I was thinking at the time, I felt like you needed to do that to give yourself confidence.
Yep.
But you poo-pooed it later and said, I'm going to find my gifts.
Yeah.
And because I feel like what we're programmed to do is to work hard at what we're not good at instead of allowing our gifts to unfold.
I know.
Because not all of us are good at the same thing.
That's correct.
And we're programmed to do what we're not good at.
Right.
But if we all worked and amplified what we were good at,
I know.
Think how abundant everybody would be.
Exactly. And how much happier the world would be.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't have anything called stress.
No.
People are dying of chronic stress.
I mean, they are? I hadn't thought of that stress being a chronic disease.
Look at all the diseases that are causing by chronic stress.
Right.
I mean, it's just it's going rampant.
I mean, I know inflammation, it's exacerbated by stress.
Yes.
I hadn't really thought of chronic stress.
Chronic stress is huge.
I had chronic stress. It's gone now.
Uh-huh.
But I had it in my job, in my old job.
Yeah.
That I let go at the end of 2016. But so 2017, it was like I felt like I went through post-traumatic stress disorder.
I got it. Okay.
Unleashing all of that, and beefing up my coaching and everything. And so I hear you with all these layers and layers.
It's
blocks.
kind of like peeling back an onion when you start on this process. That's why, it's pretty revealing.
Well, Catherine, let the viewers know, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, they can either email me, and my email is CATECLIF as in Frank, T as in Tom, Clift, 53 at hotmail.com. Or they can call my cell phone, which is 317-617-6926.
Great. And we'll have that below as well, below this video, so you can, if you didn't catch it on the right now, you can go below and look at it and get a hold of Catherine and start releasing. She can help you facilitate your own ability to release these blockages so that you can begin to have a more successful and wealthier life. Yay-hoo!
We want you to live your dreams.
Yes. And is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience before we sign off today?
I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Well, I, for one, have released some of my blocks, and I am ready to I'm really going to start thinking about all the beautiful information and wisdom that you've imparted on us today. Thank you, Catherine, for being with us.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.